as I had mentioned in my previous video, I decided to give me a dry erase board because there's times whenever I think that it's easy to illustrate things by pointing out, by drawing something out and pointing it out. And I'm often, asked a question about, what do I think that gold and silver prices are going to go to? And of course, I have mentioned before, there's no way that you can tell that, but there's indicators in the market that can tell you at certain times, if you're watchful on things that's going on, that can cause the prices of metals to go up and down. And I wanted to point out a few things here. And by the way, by using some of this stuff, I was able to recently purchase silver at its low, at $14.99 bid. And this was last Friday, and I kept watching, and because the things I had been listening to and people that I give a lot of credit to, such as Peter Schiff, Ted Butler, and, these guys like this. Ted Butler is probably one of the, or he should be, one of the most well-respected silver analysts out there. I can also throw in David Morgan. But these are some key things. Now, there might be something else that I'm just not thinking of right now. But these things right here are your most important things that you should keep an eye out for whenever you're looking at possibly buying or even possibly selling. Now, your dollar index is something that you need to keep or give your attention and watch that, because the value of the dollar has got a direct effect on the price of our precious metals. Now, let's look at the dollar index. This is what I pay attention to the most. Now, not to say there's other things that I don't look at also, but the dollar index, okay? Now, by listening to Peter Schiff and one of his recent videos, or it might have been an audio, he said that he expects the dollar index to stay around 80. Okay? Now, that's not to say, now he did say that it could possibly go to 81. Okay? And who knows, it could go to 82. But we know for a fact that if it was to actually go to 82, it's because the government and the feds and all these mischievous characters are propping up the dollar. Now, if it does go to, let's say, 82, we can actually expect the price of gold and silver to drop, because the dollar is gaining value. Now, just the opposite. Now, a lot of times we'll see it drop maybe to 79 or 78, and like whenever gold was at like 1200 and 1250, it was down to 77 and 76. So these are some key things that you need to be watchful about. And right now we see the dollar index is sticking around 80. Now, just keep in mind that if this starts going up, then the value of the gold prices may go down. It's not the value of the gold itself, it's gold prices. We know what the value of gold is. It's just that the prices tend to go down when we have a higher dollar index. Now, another thing is the Dow. Sometimes it works, what shall I say, back-asswards on the Dow. Sometimes we see if the Dow is going up. We can also see gold and silver go up. It's just the nature of the beast. And there's also times whenever the Dow goes up, we can see gold and silver go down. It's strange. I don't have all the answers to this. All you got to do is watch, and you'll actually be able to confirm what I'm telling you. This is one thing right here, the S&P 500. Right now, the S&P 500 is, I'm just going to go on the price of gold. I think we should be seeing the S&P 500 around 1091. If someone wants to check that out, fine. If not, I'm not trying to be precise. But with the S&P 500, once you start seeing the S&P 500 going up, at this time, you can also expect the price of gold to go up, and vice versa. If the S&P 500 go down, you're going to see the price of gold go down. Now, these may suit any one of these categories at any time. So, in other words, it can jump from here. You could be relying on the dollar index, and all of a sudden there's to be a change in the S&P 500 that will take charge of these prices, and you'll have to follow that category in particular. And you have to keep watch. And the next thing too is oil. A lot of times whenever you see oil going up, you just have to remember to go to these different prices and watch over a couple of days or a week and see what is following. And it can always, these things here are never solid, because each one of these has an effect. So in other words, if you see the dollar index going up, and at the same time you've got countries like India buying gold from the IMF, this in fact changes all this. So India buying gold creates this physical gold. It can cause the price of gold to go up, even though the dollar index may be going up. You follow me? It's not, everything is never concrete. You got to learn to these things right here. Global events, okay? Global events. If you know, if they was to come out and say you threat war in Taiwan, well, you're going to see gold and silver go up. War always causes these gold and silver prices and your other precious metals. And so, just remember, these things aren't always concrete. Now, if you was to see this Dow go down, okay, I want to erase this. I want to just point something else out to you. Let's say there's a big goings on where the market says at 10,000, and bad news comes out in the market. Bad stuff. We're talking about fail again. Ford never toes, always done build a good car. All of a sudden they got problems. So we see in all these big corporations fall, and you see the Dow maybe drop down to 8,000 in 3 days. Okay? And once this thing happens, you're going to see your gold holders that has hedged. In gold, you're going to see a big sell-off in gold. Because why? Because they're wanting liquidity, okay, for the market, for this right up here. They're looking for liquidity. You know, whatever it be, if they're going to lose money, or if they want to sell it in order to gain liquidity before it drops down too far, because they know that they're going to be gold sellers, so they'll immediately go and they'll sell gold, be able to get a good price before it drops to a low. and so they can come back to the market at a slow, such as financials. At this point, I'm going to stop. If there's anything else that I made, you might want to point it out. I welcome all your comments. Okay? Y'all have a good day.